Hey guys, Paul here from the Complete Personal Trainer Podcast, episode 4, where we're re-going over the principles for my book, where today we're going to be talking about our first nutrition principle, which is dietary dogma. So the nutrition principle that I talked about in the book is the first one being most important for trainers to be able to work with a widest range of clients possible, is the concept of not having a dogma. So what a dogma is, it's basically a belief system when it comes to nutrition, and as we know, people can become quite dogmatic about their nutrition and how they like to eat, and they can actually identify as that. So this is where we see the paleo people, the vegan people, the keto people, whatever. Now, in terms of my approach to this one, how it's changed over the last year hasn't really changed that much, believe it or not, because the same kind of principle applies, no dogma. The difference, I would say, this year is that it's getting into the point where even no dogma mean people don't even have to have a nutrition approach some of the time. So what I would do in my personal training, when I was running a gym in particular, or working in the commercial gym as a semi-private trainer, what I would do is I would make sure people would be on different dietary phases and making sure clients were always into a actual phase. What I've done now is I've actually avoided that approach quite a lot to give people a little bit more flexibility and spent more time working on their relationship with food, which is another principle in and of itself. So with the dogma, it's still the same kind of things really apply. All diets can be useful. The first question is, are they working for that particular client? So the coaching question that I use is, how's that working for you? And then we quantify that with some kind of data-based metrics. So whether it's scale weight, whether it's measurements, whether it's body fat taken during a DEXA, etc. From there, nothing else really matters too much. Like if the results are going well and they can adhere to a diet, that's something that's useful for them, and they're not having any adverse health effects, then that diet's totally okay to work with. I will talk to my clients about changing their diet if their goal needs that. But a lot of the time, if people are happy and performing well and they're not trying to get to that elite 100% performance, I don't need to worry about so much. And that's probably something else that has shifted somewhat. A lot of my nutritional coaching was based around, calorie deficit, calorie surplus, maintenance calories, and probably loading carbs as much as possible in terms of the performance benefits that they can get for you from a exercise performance standpoint. Now I'm not pushing that kind of approach as hard, because a lot of people aren't looking for high performance training goals when you're training general population clients. Nothing wrong with going for high performance training goals. There's nothing wrong with not having a training goal in terms of a high performance body composition goal or a high level body composition goal. So the dogma has been not becoming more relaxed, but being more aware of the different stresses that people have in their lives, the different stages that they're in their lives, and then being much more okay with that when we're looking at longer periods of maintenance and then focusing on other things as well. So I guess with that said, the thing that has changed in my approach to dietary dogma is even getting rid of the idea of doing a diet a lot of the time for a lot of people, just to help them get through things a little bit easier, particularly in the context of the last year that we all went through. It was very hard for people to stick to diets, and it really gave us all, I think, a really good lesson in how important food is for people's emotional, social, psychological well-being. It was one of the things that most people missed, eating out with friends and all that kind of stuff, and actually being able to have that kind of social interaction around food. So appreciating that has really led to, I guess, a more relaxed coaching environment for people when they need that. So as a trainer, how you can take this principle away today and use it in your personal training practice is as follows. Number one, no dogma. So when a client comes to you with a diet plan, the first thing you do is not criticize it. If you criticize that person, they're going to feel bad about it. Or they'll be resentful and they'll stick to their plan even harder. So curious questions, see how it's working, measure health markers and also performance markers and body composition markers. If they're all going well, great, that diet works for that person, happy days. From there, when looking at different diets, look at the commonalities. If all diets work, it's generally because of a calorie deficit. If it's for fat loss, if it's for muscle gain, it's generally for a calorie surplus. It's really, really simple. Calories in versus calories out has a lot of nuance to it, but it is the underlying principle that underlies all successful diets. So as long as we can appreciate that and then delve into the different levels of nuance as we get better at coaching our clients and we spend more time individualizing their approach, that is probably the most intelligent way to go about it. The next thing is also Dogma realize that most people aren't coming to you for elite body composition results. So really try and delve into their why, try and figure out a little bit more about how they tick as a human being, and then find out what's important to them. So socializing and food is really important to them. That's something that's okay. That's just something that we work around and we deal with, and that puts a constraint on the results that they're going to get in terms of the time frame and the level of results. But that's okay because some people do value that more, and having that as a higher level value versus body composition isn't good or bad. It just is simply what is. So with no dogma, take it a little bit further than just realizing it's just a calorie deficit. It's also no dogma about what you think your client should have. It's about identifying their values and then working with that to create a successful framework for them. Thanks heaps for listening, guys. Speak soon.